return.
We return.
We return, return again. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return, return again and again to truth, to truth, to truth, to truth. We return again to truth. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return, return again. We return. We return. We return, return again and again to you, to you, to you. We return again to you.
Shana Tova, everyone. Happy New Year, and welcome to West End Temple, and welcome home. Our incredible choir has just led us in We Return, and I am so excited that we will be able to sing with them and listen to them during this holiday season. So beautiful, and thank you. This Rosh Hashanah, we return. We return to community. Some of us haven't missed a new year here in decades and feel the presence of generations here in these walls. Some of us might be here for the first time. We welcome you, we see you, and we hope that you will help us build a beloved community that you will call home. All of us are seekers and rejoicers, doers and hopers and prayers. We return to community. We return to the Holy One in our flaws and in our awesomenesses. We reach and we grow, we learn and we try. The Talmud teaches that the one who does teshuvah, the one who repents, that one is even higher than the perfect tzaddik who is righteous in everything. We return to the Holy One. And we return to the beginning. We start fresh with beginner's mind, relearning the basics from a new perspective, turning to a familiar loved one with eyes that are not jaded, turning to ourselves with clarity and compassion. We return to the beginning. One thing we are not returning to this year is our old machzorim, our old prayer books, which were read. We have new prayer books this year, these gold prayer books for Rosh Hashanah, and they're going to be silver ones for Yom Kippur. Many of us here dedicated these beautiful machzorim to loved ones or things that we're celebrating. And so I hope everyone enjoys them. They are new, they are different. They are a change, and there's a lot in here to think about and to read. So as you're going through, please feel free to look at the different poems and comments that we find throughout the prayer book. So we read together. Let's begin on page 7. Together. Summer's gone, nights grow cold. These are the days of awe. The shofar blows with bread in hand down to the sea. We take time, give thanks, and cast our sadness free, that we may start fresh, that we may come clear, that we may know sweetness and peace throughout the year, that we may find love where we need it most, and open our hearts and hands and draw each other close. A day to fast and count the ways we've promised and fallen short. We meet each other's gaze. Begin again, life won't wait. Time turns and we return and walk on through the gates. Under the moon, a roof of trees, we bring in the harvest. Beneath the stars we eat and sing for joy, make ourselves strong. We'll reap what we've sown, may it last all year long. That we may start fresh, that we may come clear, that we may know sweetness and peace throughout the year, that we may find love where we need it most, and open our hearts and hands and draw each other close. We continue on page 8, the singing of Essa Enai. Continue on page 10, we're going to bring in the lights of the holiday, and I'd like to invite our president, Dr. Sherry Copeland, along with her family to come and light the candles. So we'll join together with Sherry as she reads on page 10.
Creation's brightest light, the mystics say, was hidden at the dawn of time. But on the sacred night, this night of hope and joy, a glimmer of that light is here, in candles flame, in children's eyes, and eyes aglow with wisdom's light. It shines in the faces of the ones we love, in grateful hearts, in tears of loss. It lives in memories of goodness, and in our own desire to do right, to try again, to build anew, to ask forgiveness and make peace. We enter this new year and look upon the beauty of these lights. So may the days of awe renew the light within us. Now do the, go ahead, Marty.
Amen.
So everyone, we have a new old tradition here at West End Temple called the Purposeful Schmooze. The Purposeful Schmooze. So schmooze in Yiddish means to talk. Purposeful means with purpose. So I'm gonna invite everyone, I know you got comfortable here in your seats, but I'm gonna ask you to stand up and actually get out and talk to someone that you do not know and say hi and say Shana Tova and find out what is one of their hopes for this new year. You may think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. So you're going to go ahead, stand up, and actually go out, find someone that maybe you don't know so well, say Shana Tova, find out their hope for this year. Very nice.
Growing the temple, being peace and whole. What are you looking for?
Well, I'm an office here, so I'm just moved to New York City, so I'm looking forward to growing into my surroundings and my career as a senior, adulthood, true adulthood.
Tell me where, I didn't read your, I didn't get your
Oh yes, my bio.
Tell me
My very silly bio. Well, so I'm coming from County, Florida, which is sort of near Miami. And then I lived in Tallahassee for 6 years while I was at school. And then I lived in Kansas City for 2 years, where I did my first master's degree in singing. And then I lived in Boston for 2 years, where I did a degree in science. And now I work in medical research here, while also being booked. Beautiful little life. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Where do you live? I live on the Upper East Side. A dear aunt lived in Chelsea for a very long time. So I've always been How long is this shoot? Should I leave it out? Meet some other friends?
Okay. I know. It's successful. I know. Should I?
Oh my gosh. Liv is so sweet. Oh my gosh. Oh, I accidentally. I'm so sorry.
I would walk up.
Yeah, I understand.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return. Return again. We return.
We return.
We return.
I've noticed that it is hard to start the purposeful schmooze sometimes, but it's even harder to stop it, which is a good thing. That is the point. I'm so glad to see everyone making connections between the generations, between old friends and new faces. So we just schmoozed about our hopes, with the purpose being that the hopes that we have are the seeds of our prayers, and the prayers are the seeds of our actions. As your prayer leaders during these Yamim Noraim, these days of awe, Gabriel and I have the enormous privilege of taking your hopes, both spoken and unspoken, lifting them on our voices, reflecting them back to you, and hopefully supporting their growth. And it was with that intention that we continue now with Hineni, meaning here I am, or I am present, that will be sung by our student cantor. So we rise as the ark is open, turning to page 17.
Sacred, in gratitude and awe, we bow before the infinite. The name of the eternal
page 23. We read together, "Bless Adonai, who spins day into dusk. With wisdom watch the dawn gates open. With understanding let time and seasons come and go. With awe perceive the stars in lawful orbit. Morning dawns, evening darkens, darkness and light yielding one to the other, yet each distinguished and unique. Marvel at life, strive to know its ways, seek wisdom and truth, the gateways to life's mysteries. Wondrous indeed is the evening twilight. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, creator of twilight and dusk." Page 25. Shema Yisrael, hear the voice of Hannah. There is no one holy as the Eternal. Truly there is none beside you. There is no rock like our God. Shema Yisrael, hear the call of Moses. Embrace and carry in your hearts this day. In heaven above, on earth below, Adonai is our God, there is none else. Shema Yisrael, hear the words of the mystics. There is nothing but God, no place and no person is empty of God. The whole earth is suffused with God's glory. Hear, O Israel, God's hands are our hands. God's work is our work. God's voice speaks through us. God is one when we are one.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We turn to page 33 as we read responsively. To break the bonds of anger, to be generous of heart. To break the bonds of shame, to live with self-respect, to break the bonds of envy, to serve one another in joy, to break the bonds of boredom, to be attentive to all God's gifts, to break the bonds of fear, to live with courage and strength, to untie the knots of betrayal, to love with fullness of being, to break the bonds of loneliness, to receive a hand of hope, to break the bonds of self-centeredness, to extend a hand of help. Released from the darkness, our people found their freedom at the sea, and we pray for liberation at the dawning of this year. Page 34.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha neder b'kodesh, Torah te'ilo osefele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, Hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zelianu v'yameru, Adonai Elokei Goyim. V'ne'emar ki fadar Adonai et Yaakov, Ugealo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch Shemo. Kol Yisrael.
Please rise as we turn to page 40.
Yitkadal veyitkadash meraba. Ve'alma divrach irutei, ve'yamlich malchutei, ve'chayechon, uve'yomechon, uve'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'bizman kariv ve'imeru. Amen. Yesh meraba mevorach le'olam, u'lam me'havaya yitbarach. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal, Shemei dekudesha riku le'ela u'le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata tamiran be'alma ve'imeru
Page 49. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha sela. You are holy, your name is holy. Seekers of holiness, praise you day by day. Selah. And so in your holiness, give all creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear to reverence. Let us be witnesses of wonder, perceiving all nature as a prayer come alive. We bow to the sovereignty of your strength, the primacy of your power. We yearn for connection with all that lives, doing your will with wholeness of heart. Awe-inspiring is your creation, all-encompassing your transcendent name. Page 50. And so in your holiness, give your people the gift of honor. Bless with praise those who praise you. Bless with hope those who seek you. Give your believers a basis for faith, true happiness for the land of Israel, true joy in Jerusalem. May the sparks of David, your servant, soon grow bright enough for us to see a beam of light in the darkness, a promise of perfection. And so in your holiness, give the righteous the gift of a vision bright with joy, a world where evil has no voice and the rule of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere will celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the earth. Page 52. You are holy, your name is awe. There is nothing divine beyond you. As the prophet Isaiah taught, the source of all might is exalted through justice, the God of holiness made holy through righteousness.
Kadosh ata v'nora shemecha ve'en Elohim mibaladecha. Hakatuv vayikva Adonai tzvaot b'mishpat. V'ha'el hakadosh nikdash b'tzedakah. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamelech, Hamelech, Hamelech HaKadosh.
We take time now to pray silently. You may look at the words through to page 71, or also breathe, think, say whatever is on your heart to say. We rise now for Avinu Malkeinu, page 75, and I'd like to invite Liz Keenan to open the ark. Please rise. We read responsively. We haven't forgotten Avinu Malkeinu, though we've overthrown kings and we disobeyed fathers, and we have no great liking for absolute power. Akiva stood before you in a time of drought, and his words went up like a flame on the altar.
Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our ruler. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion for us.
He was humble and forgiving, so his prayer was answered. Tonight we speak again in a time of drought. Dry ground beneath us, no water, only rock.
Not a hunger for bread or thirst for water, but hearts that are longing to hear God's voice.
For the sea of faith is all but gone. The tide's gone out on the empty beach. The world mocks our hopes and life tests our courage.
Why do the wicked live on its roster? Why are you silent when they prey on the innocent?
And if your dominion is kindness and justice, why is creation in so much pain? Avinu Malkeinu, sustain our souls. Send rain to our roots. Help us find a way to pray.
Make us humble and forgiving of ourselves and one another.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew these words. Help us speak them with conviction and believe their truth. 100 generations have stood before the ark, and they lifted up their voices like flame on the altar. And they put their trust in kindness and justice. And they gave their strength to make the promise real.
Avinu Malkeinu, we haven't forgotten. Avinu Malkeinu, bring us back to you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Atanu Lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Avol Aleinu, E'alol Aleinu,
Once upon a time, there was a chassid, a Jewish man, who wanted more than anything to meet Elijah the prophet. So the chassid went to his rabbi, the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov told him, if you want to meet Elijah the prophet, I want you to take this box of food. Then right before Rosh Hashanah, I want you to go to the outskirts of our town, and there you will find a dilapidated house. Stand by the door and listen. Then, right before the holiday starts, right before sundown, knock on the door and ask if you can be their guest for the holiday. And so he did. He brought the box, and he found the house, and he listened at the door. Inside, he heard children crying, "Mommy, it is right before Rosh Hashanah, and we have no food to eat. How will we make the holiday?" He heard the mother say, "Don't worry, my children. Elijah the prophet will provide." A little while later, he knocked on the door, and the mother opened it. He said, "Can I be your guest for the holiday? I have nowhere else to go." She said, "You can be our guest, of course, but sadly, I have very little to offer you." He said, "Don't worry, I have a beautiful dinner here in this box." And he went inside, and he unpacked the delicious and abundant food, and he stayed with them for the entire holiday, waiting to meet Elijah the prophet. But he didn't. And when the holiday was over, he thanked them, and he left. The chassid returned to the Baal Shem Tov, and he said, "I did exactly as you said, but I didn't meet Elijah the prophet." The Baal Shem Tov said, "Okay, so go back an hour before sunset on Yom Kippur and do the exact same thing. Bring the food and listen at the door." And so he did. This time, as he was listening at the door, he heard the children say, "Mommy, how can we fast on Yom Kippur? We haven't eaten all day. We have no food." And the mother said, "Don't worry, my children. Don't you remember on Rosh Hashanah? You were crying, and I told you Elijah the prophet would come and bring us food. And then didn't Elijah the prophet come and knock on the door?" And then the chassid understood what the Baal Shem Tov was teaching, and he knocked on the door. And so we understand what the Baal Shem Tov was teaching. We can each be Elijah the prophet. And really what that means is that we can each be a chassid, a person who does chesed. In other words, a person who acts with love towards other people. Chesed is primary to our tradition's understanding of what we are about as a people. According to the Talmud in Masechet Yevamot, there are 3 traits that distinguish the Jewish people from all other peoples. Now, you might think that those are Shabbat and keeping kosher and sitting in services on the holidays. Or you might think that that's bagels and lox and neurotic anxiety. But no, the 3 distinguishing traits of the Jewish people, according to this teaching, are mercy and humility and chesed, the quality of doing loving actions. We also learn in Pirkei Avot, Al Shlosha Devarim Ha'olam Omed, Al HaTorah, Al HaAvodah, Al Gemilut Chasadim. The world stands on 3 things: Torah, service to God, and acts of chesed, acts of loving kindness. Also in the Talmud, we learn something more about chesed. The Torah itself begins and ends with chesed. Taught Rabbi Simlai, at the beginning of the Torah, God gives clothing to Adam and Eve, and at the end of the Torah, God buries Moses. A variation of this teaching found in Midrash Tanchuma says not only does the Torah begin and end with chesed, but the middle of the Torah is also chesed, because God visits Abraham when he is in need of healing. Feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, visiting the sick, comforting mourners, burying the dead. These are acts of chesed, and when we do them, we imitate God. And other things are included in our traditional understanding of chesed, like welcoming guests and celebrating with a couple getting married. Indeed, any concrete, tangible act of human kindness, not dependent on whether the recipient is rich or poor, old or young, friend, relative, acquaintance, storekeeper, mail deliverer, or fellow temple member, all these are chesed. Chesed has defined our people. It is central to our Torah. It is foundational to our rabbinic texts, and it is an essential component of our folklore as well. In the words of Rabbi Shai Held, when we say that the beginning, middle, and end of X is Y, what we are really saying is that Y is at the very core of what X is. The very essence of Torah, the sages thus insist, is a God of love and kindness who calls Israel, who calls us to do love and kindness. And just as chesed is foundational to Torah and Judaism, so too my hope is that chesed should be at the foundation of what we do in our lives and at the foundation of this temple. Because I believe acts of chesed are sorely needed. Our society has been strained by this pandemic. We are seeking therapy in unprecedented numbers. We are stressed by the demands of parenting and childcare and working, and we are stressed from taking care of parents who live far away and loved ones who are sick. We are stressed by the news, in particular the war in Ukraine and inflation. And many of us are lonely. In particular, youth, young people aged 18 to 24 are struggling with loneliness. And all of this loneliness is contributing, paradoxically, to the feeling that other people are a threat. So you have all of us lonely people going out into society and thinking that people are out to get them. And even before the pandemic, many of us were suffering from social isolation, as well documented in a book called Bowling Alone by Robert Putnam, which analyzed the decreasing attendance in clubs and organizations, volunteering, and churches and temples. I want to ask you something, and don't worry, I will not make you share this with your neighbor in a purposeful schmooze. Have you felt lonely in the past year? Sad or isolated or frustrated or stressed? We all have. We all have. Soon, I won't even be the only one asking you, as experts are now recommending that everyone under the age of 65 be screened for anxiety at all of their medical appointments. And it's not because we're in a bad headspace or we have a negative attitude. It's endemic, even before the pandemic. And the antidote is chesed. We have already seen the seeds of this happening here at our temple. This past spring, shortly after Passover, I came down with COVID. I remember that I had to cancel teaching one of our bar mitzvah students because, of course, I couldn't teach him face-to-face, and I was too sick to meet him over Zoom. And the mom responded to me, "Can I send you some food?" She gathered some of the other religious school families, and together they sent me and my family a delicious meal. It was an act of chesed. Of course, I could have gotten out my phone and clicked away and ordered myself some food. But what I received was much more nourishing because I knew that others in my community were thinking about me and that they cared about me. And not only were they thinking and caring, they were doing. And I have seen this many times here at our temple. When a regular member of our Torah study group, one of our elders, didn't come to our Torah study on Zoom one day, another member called her right then and there to see if she was okay, and she was. When one of our elders didn't have a ride home from a meeting and a member drove her home. When a new mom came to lawn Shabbat with her infant and she didn't have a chair, and someone immediately saw her and got up and gave her a chair. When I have helped to bury loved ones who have passed, and family members lovingly place earth onto the grave, stepping out of their grief for that moment to physically care for a loved one for the last time. These are acts of chesed, and they are significant, and they are important. But now, I want us to think about what this community would feel like if we did the following. What if every time one of us lost a loved one, we got a call from someone at the temple, not just offering condolences, but saying, we'd like to set up the shiva for you. Can we bring the food and set it up while you are out at the funeral? What if every time one of us got COVID, because we will, there was a stash of homemade soup frozen in the temple fridge that we all made, and someone at the temple brought it over and delivered it? What if every time a baby was born into the community, we set up a meal train for the family, ensuring they got dinner brought to them for the whole month? What if the elders of our temple and the college students who are away at school and our working parents, what if they each received phone calls and holiday cards from another temple member a few times a year, checking in to say, I care about you. What's doing? I'm thinking about you. Happy holidays. What if every time a new member joined our ranks, someone searching for community and connection and coming to our door found that they got an invitation to come over for Shabbat dinner, not just once, but every month during their first year of membership? This is the temple that I would like us to be, and that we are starting to be, and that we can be. What a gift it would be to one another to have this kind of culture. What an example it would be to the world as well. To this end, I want us to start a chesed group here at the temple. I already have 3 members in the group, myself and our president, Sherry Copeland, and Lloyd Letterman, who's our deli man, because you can't have chesed without deli. So will you join us? Let me know, and I will write down your name, and together we can start the West End Temple Chesed group. I have read the story of the chassid who wants to meet Elijah the prophet many times, and I have told it many times, but this year I noticed something that I hadn't realized before about this story. The chassid comes to give the food, but when the mother opens the door, the first thing he says is, can I have hospitality for the holiday? And the first thing she says is yes. And so I realize that this story is not just about giving. It is about how when we come to give chesed, we receive it as well. And when we receive chesed, we are also giving. In so doing, we can create anew, for this time, the foundational, essential promise of Judaism, of Torah, of a world built from beginning to middle to end on chesed, on loving kindness, and a world built from love. We rise as we turn to page 82 for Aleinu, and I'd like to invite Dr. Sherry Copeland to open the ark. Death will come. Its hand will not be stayed even an instant, nor can we enter into judgment with it. Our question, why, will go unanswered. But this does not mean that we are helpless in the face of death. We can and we do rob death of ultimate victory by living life as long as it is ours to live. To ask of death that it never come is futile, but it is not futility to pray that when death comes for us, it may take us from a world, one corner of which is a little better because we were there. When we are dead and people weep for us and grieve, let it be because we touched their lives with beauty and simplicity. Let it not be said that life was good to us, but rather that we were good to life. Our thoughts turn to loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days. If you are in the period of Shiva, 7 days following the passing of a loved one, please share their name. If you are in the period of Shloshim, 30 days, please share the name of your loved one. If you are in the period of Shana, 1 year following the passing of a loved one, please share their name. If you are observing a yahrzeit this holiday, the anniversary of a death, please share their name. Terry, thank you. Our congregation also remembers Lim Cranberg, beloved member, for whom we are in the period of Shloshim. Our hearts open as well to the wider circles of loss in our community and wherever grief touches the human family. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing in this new year and always. We continue now with Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Please rise or remain seated, as is your custom, page 90. Yitkadal avit kadash shemei rabba. Be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute. V'chayichon u'b'yomechon. U'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela ule'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, v'kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace bestow peace on all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say together, amen. Seated. I'd like to call now upon our president, Dr. Sherry Copeland, to share some announcements.
Good evening. Shana Tova to one and all. I'm honored to have this opportunity to be with you tonight. I wanted to read some of the announcements that are in the booklet. I can juggle it. Tomorrow, our services, are they in here? They're not listed, oh yeah. Tomorrow morning, our services are at 10:15. Hear the shofar, the Torah, and participate in the beautiful holiday music. Rosh Hashanah family services are tomorrow at 2:30. Tashlik, if it's not raining, at 3:30 at the beach on 149th Street entrance. Shabbat Shuvah with an early Shabbat and potluck next Friday night, September 30th at 6 p.m. We also have Rabbi Josh Weinberg coming on October 15th to speak to us. And every week we have our weekly seniors discussion group and Shabbat morning Torah study. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for joining in, and thank you in advance for your kindness and your generosity to this year's High Holiday Appeal to help us do what we do best, continue our programming for ourselves, our families, and for the world around us. And thank you for being a part of West End Temple. A happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year to all.
Following our service, we'd like to invite you to our oneg to share in some desserts and conversation and a l'chaim over in our Sylvain room, which is right across the way over here. Thank you to Dr. Sherry Copeland for sponsoring, and we'll be glad to join together in doing that. I also want to say thank you to our student cantor, Gabriel, and Rose, and our choir. Thank you very, very much for lifting our spirits with your beautiful music. Thank you to our tech crew over here, Liv and Thomas and Liz, for keeping us connected. And also, if you see our staff that's here tonight, Kate and her boyfriend Tom, please say thank you to them because they have been working beyond belief to really make sure our holiday is so beautiful and smooth. And also to Heidi and John, who kept us safe here this evening with their presence and their care. So we continue now with Adon Olam on page 94.
Adon Olam Asher Malach, Yai Yadadadadai, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, Yai Yadadadai, למרות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, עת נשא לחפצו כל, אז המלך שמו נקרא, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להכבירה, בלי ראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, ונשא בחפצו כל, אז המלך שמו נקרא, והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בית אישה צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי ונרקוסי ביום אקרא. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, נשא לחפצו כל, אז המלך שמו נקרא, בידו אבקיר רוחים, בתשען והעירה, ועם רוחי כביעתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, נשא לחפצו כל, אז המלך שמו נקרא.
Let's rise as we turn to page 79 for Kiddush. I'd like to invite Luke Hargman to come up and lead us in Motzi following Kiddush. Page 79.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo,
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo,
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol העם, ורוממנו מכל לשון, וקידשנו במצוותיו. ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה, את יום הזיכרון הזה, יום תרועה מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. או כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ודברך אמת וקיים לעד. ברוך אתה אדוני,
Baruch Shemo,
מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש ישראל, ביום הזיכרון.
Amen.
ברוך Amen.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu shetechadesh aleinu shana tova umetuka. Our God and God of our ancestors, eternal God of all generation, may your presence in our lives this new year of 5783 renew our spirits and renew our strength. May it be a good year. May it be a sweet year. Shana tova tikatevu v'techatemu. May you be inscribed and sealed for a good year. And we say together, Amen. Amen. And let's eat some cheesecake.
Shana tova tikatevu, Shana